I'm off on my Vision Quest West Coast trip up to Washington from LA. Come on, angels, join me. Made it to my brother and his boat in Alameda Harbor in the Bay Area. Woo! First day on the road. I love it.
Hey, Toyness is in town.
Toyd's here. All right, we're gonna take a quickie little tour.
Oh, we're videotaping. Oh goodness! All right.
Look at this little marina.
Don't fall in as you climb over while you're videotaping.
Okay.
You got that?
I got it.
Okay.
Sweet. Look at, oh my gosh, you guys. Loving it. And my nieces. Oh, angels.
All right, my favorite canoes.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Look at this fabulous lounge area, you guys. I even have my own suite. Isn't it sweet?
Right, that big giant hole in the ceiling. Yeah, make sure to get that.
That's not in there. And I have a skylight. Look at that. Hey, and the moon. Might be able to see the moon tonight. Love it. Oh, I want to go up.
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh.
Julia,
Chair.
pretty up here. Howdy.
Cool neighbors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Neighbors.
Guys.
Yeah, it's a nice view from it.
Love it. What a cool little marina. I have a weekend of family on my first stop of my Vision Quest trip. Here with my brother, Jonathan, and we call each other Toyd from our teenage years. So we said that instead of turd. Toyd, and now our kids call us Aunt and Uncle Toyd. So it's sticking. Anyway, welcome to my sister-in-law Barbara's loft. It's so amazing. Jonathan's at work in the kitchen, cooking up a storm.
Toyness.
Toyness! You're cooking up a storm.
Yeah, vegan French toast. This spot that it's like I'm doing this.
What's this on top?
Wendy! Smoky tip again.
We're at the Emeryville Public Market. It is so cool here. We came to a little Indian eatery. Fabulous stuff. Yeah. There's been a change in plans, as you guys may have guessed. Lots of shifting underfoot going on in the world as people navigate the coronavirus, and there's some panic buying happening at the store. I was just hopping on my motorcycle to get out and recharge in nature. Not going to make it all the way up to Washington because my event got canceled. My brother has hosted me this weekend in the Bay Area, Alameda Harbor, on his beautiful boat. It has been wonderful. So I've had a beautiful time here in this gorgeous marina, as you can see. Wow. So I am off to camp for 4 days and bring in the spring equinox with you guys. We're going to go to Point Reyes, just an hour north of San Francisco, and you're going to recharge with me. We're not going to fall into panic. We're going to see this, what is going on in the world, as something bigger than what it appears. It is change that is happening, and change is often very hard for people, and they like to hold on to the old, and what this virus is doing is helping them let go, helping them connect with one another. Even though they're holding themselves up in their homes, they are actually reaching out to one another and helping one another. So that is a beautiful byproduct of what is happening. All right, join me, babies. We're going to go up the coast. check out my lunch spot. Beautiful. Point Reyes, in north of San Francisco area. Having a little leftover rice and coconut and veggies. Delicious, topped with avocado. We have a beautiful view over here, huh? Check it out. Not bad. All right, gorgeous. Perfect little spot to enjoy the beauty. All right, so, things always happen when you're camping or you're on adventures, living on the road. They might look like little obstacles, but when you roll with it and you don't get upset over little things that happen, then they're not obstacles at all, and they're just something that you go around and figure out a little solution for. So tonight, I had dehydrated all this yummy food for my camping trips and found out that my fuel canister, they were full, but they were older and they didn't have the threads to thread into my little pocket rocket stove. So I couldn't rehydrate my dehydrated food. So I think I have enough food that doesn't need cooking to last me 3 days. And we shall see. So what I made tonight was really yummy. And I'll have it for breakfast in the morning so you guys can see it. Now I'm sitting in my camp chair. Looking out at it's the ocean. It's a little bay here. It's not really the ocean, so it's really protected and nice. I have my little Lucy light. And I'm really enjoying myself. I am the only one here in this park, Point Reyes. It's closed down. Coronavirus has everyone closed down, so I have the whole place to myself. You can see my breath. It's going to get a little bit cold tonight. I have my new 0-degree bag. You guys can check it out. Good morning, angels. Oh my gosh. This place is so magical. What a beautiful night's sleep. I tested out my new sleeping bag. It's a 0-degree. And I knew this is going to be a cold little adventure ride for me. So the last thing you want to do is be cold at night. I knew the temperatures were going to dip into the low 40s. And if I had gone inland in California, I wouldn't have been able to go over the passes. Shasta had 2 dumps of snow. And I didn't want to ride my motorcycle in the snow. So I kept to the coast. And this beautiful area in Point Reyes, just north of San Francisco, is a find. It's a gold mine, this place. So I have a new Big Agnes Sunbeam 0-degree sleeping bag and a sleeping bag liner. But the thing about it, I got such a score. $200 for the sleeping bag, but it was a left side zipper and petite, and I'm 5'6", so I'm bigger than the sleeping bag. But it worked out great because my body was so warm, my head didn't get cold, and I put my duffel bag right behind my head to block any drafts coming into the tent. My tent is a Big Agnes copper spur, and it's a backpacking tent, so it could be light on my motorcycle. And So it's pretty much a slight 3-season tent. Spring, summer, fall. And we have just the no-seam netting on the side, so any drafts comes right through. We have the fly going all the way to the ground, which is great, but it's lightweight. And I had three hours of rain last night, and the tent held up, no leaks. I'm super warm. I have my luxurious down pillow that I love so much. I'm going to stay toasty in here because I think it's going to rain a little bit more. I had to step out to go use the bathroom just a bit ago, and it's wet. And I'm going to be reading my book that I'm excited about. I've been reading called Unveiled Mysteries. Printed and written in the early 1900s by a guy who went hiking on Shasta and had a really unusual experience. He was met with a guy up there who, I don't know if you're familiar with the Christmas Carol, but it was kind of like a current day Christmas Carol. Maybe back then it was before Christmas Carol was written, but this guy took him to past lives that he had. And that's what I do. I do past life regression. So lots of information about that seems to find its way to me, which is how I have formulated my belief systems, because I have had things that have proven to me beyond a reasonable doubt for myself. So it's pretty fun what belief systems are, right? And everybody has them. That's what molds our filters and what we view life through. These are our glasses. And anyway, it's fun for me. I love conversations about that too. The party I went to the other day, my sister-in-law Barbara throws these 15th, beautiful 15th parties every month. And she's built up a wonderful community through that. Through beautiful food that she provides for everyone, just so full of love. And it was so funny because the two most spiritual people found me, and we had just fun conversations. So you see my little Lucy light next to me, that's starting to go out. I don't think I'll be able to. It has solar charges on the back. And it doesn't look like I have sun today, and it was fading out, and the AAA batteries on my headlamp didn't even work. They worked when I set out and packed, but I'll have to roll them or pull them out and roll them around, see if there's any corrosion or something. So I'm going to make breakfast in a little bit, and I'll have you join me then. Mwah. All right, cooking a little brekkie with my angels here. Quick cooking steel cut oats, no cooking at all today, because our fuel canisters for the stove didn't work. Little lesson, always test your equipment at home before you go out on the road. But you know what, if stuff like this happens, no big deal. We make do. We roll with the adventure. Put some oats in there. A little unsweetened shredded coconut. Yeah. Let me add a little water to that. Make a little coconut milk. Let the oats soak up that water and coconut. And we'll cut up our banana and apple. Fabulous ceramic knife with a sheath. I like chef's knife. I'll bring a big chef's knife on a motorcycle camping trip. I know, because it's raining outside and I have little critters. I have to bring all my gear inside, and I have a good amount of gear. slippery little guy. Little trail mix. Reusable. Ziplocs. I made my own sunflower seed butter from sprouted sunflower seeds. And it's yummy to me. That is yummy. I gave the oats enough time to sog out. Still a little firm and yummy. Combination of the nuts and the raisins and the fruit and the nut butter and the coconut. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You hear the rain? We're cozy in here. But I have a little raccoon friend. So I'm trying to figure out what to do to run off to the bathroom. I should hang my food. We'll see. My dehydrated food with just cold water. I have dehydrated these at home, just in the stove with the lowest setting. The oven, I mean. Oh, it smells so good. Onions. Onions and mushrooms. Why not? And black beans. It'll be black bean soup. See what we can do. My dehydrated bean soup has been rehydrating all day with water, so it's going to be a cold soup, like a gazpacho, and that's okay with me. Let's pump it up with a little flavor. A little garlic, a little pressed garlic. We're on a little bit of a slant here. So is my tent. I slid down my sleeping bag, pad, last night, even though the sleeve was in there. It was only in half of it because my sleeping bag is too small for me. Okay, a little garlic, a little olive oil, and some chopped avocado. Alright, angels and my little chair. I love trees so much. Oh, that is yum. Oh my gosh, that is really good. I'm loving it. Well, I don't need to heat it up for it to taste good. The onions are a little crunchy, but that's okay. So flavorful. This recipe rocks. Let's go enjoy a view of the ocean in a little camp chair. So we have like a second bout of winter that has hit us on my ride. And it's funny because I was watching the weather before I launched and it was beautiful. Not as cold as it has been. And then we got some rain and a nice little winter storm. So to stay warm, I'm wearing all my motorcycle gear at camp. This is a good one, guys. It's easy to dehydrate food at home. I filmed a little bit for you, so I'll be shoving it in here so you can see it. And I just put it in my little reusable Ziplocs. Stays months. You can keep it for months. Because I don't have a stove this trip because of the fuel, I wasn't able to rehydrate the rice. The rice is pretty hard, so. But the soups are going to be able to be reconstituted and I'll have food. What a spot. One of the most beautiful spots I've ever camped in. California is a beautiful state. I've lived here my whole life. Never ever do I take it for granted. It is so beautiful. It has every climate, all within the state. Beautiful microclimates too. Now for some dessert, thanks to my little angel brother, who threw a couple of Cliff Bars my direction yesterday. So enjoying them, Toy. Love this crunchy peanut butter too. That is delish. Usually I just have fruit and nut butter for dessert, but I'm treating myself. All right, angels, I'm going to keep you up to date on my adventure. Guess what happened at that beautiful camping spot? I was camping illegally, which is not cool. But I thought everything was shut down from the virus. I didn't think anyone was around and that they would be bothered by it. So I was told by some rangers that it was time to go at 11 o'clock at night. So I packed up and found out that my bike was impounded for expired tags. Yes, you need to keep your tags current, but there's always a reason why things happen. I met the most beautiful people who own this tow yard. We have Roger, Betsy, and Penny. There's Penny. And Betsy is a tree hugger like me. And we've been having so much fun together, you guys. Had a little bit of lunch, and they couldn't believe I packed everything on my bike. And now we're off. That's the end of my adventure. I'm heading back to LA, not going up to Washington after all. But we had a lot of fun, right? Okay. I just got back to my dad's place in Pacific Palisades, California last night to end my adventure ride that only lasted a week. I thought it was going to be much longer. I had plans to go all the way up to Washington from LA, but as you know, what's happening in our world today is skirting plans, shutting things down. We're having lockdowns, statewide lockdowns with what is going down. But I tell you what, you guys, I always look at things with a bigger picture perspective, or try to, and I feel that this thing that is happening now, right now, this crisis that's going on medically around the world is a big shift that humanity is going through. So it's like us in a chrysalis right now, breaking things down to be birthed anew. We have neighbors rolling by. To be birthed anew in a much more beautiful way. So it is crushing down the old programming, the old ideas that we have. People are, yes, what it looks like on the outside is a little bit of chaos, people losing jobs. But if we look at it in a different way, it's bringing people together, bringing them home to their family, spending more time with each other, coming up with more creative ideas to self-school, maybe come up with new ideas for work where they are working online. So I feel what will end up happening in the end will be something worthwhile. But we shall see, right? Those who can hang on to the beauty through this process, they'll have an easier time with it instead of relinquishing themselves to the fear-mongering that's happening with the mass media. Whether you look to your mass media for all the truth is up to you. I feel that we need to watch that stuff with an open heart, and if we can pick and choose whatever resonates with us. What I experienced in the state park, I thought the whole state park was closed because of the lockdown. So that's why I stealth camped in one of the most beautiful campsites I have ever stayed in. It was quite worthwhile for all that I went through. But at 11 o'clock at night, I had a flashlight shining in my face by a male state park police officer. He had a female partner there who was staying quiet during his interrogation. And once they found out that I didn't have any drugs, I didn't have any knives or guns, he calmed down just a little bit, but he was pretty aggressive. And to me, that felt like the old structures colliding with the beauty of the new ways, which is what I feel that I represent or hope to. Camping in this beauty. You guys have seen the video of it. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And this is what I feel we can turn to. We have this all around us. We have beauty. Look at where I am. It's my father's house. He lives in a beautiful neighborhood. He lives by the ocean. Yes, he's blessed. He's worked hard to get here. But everyone can find beauty in their neighborhood. Your neighbors are beautiful, even if you have to sing to them from across the way. They're gorgeous. People are cooking for one another. They're delivering food to help each other out. This is bringing out the best in people. But it was very interesting because as the male officer was interrogating me, I let him just dish it all out. And then I calmly turned to the woman and I said, "May I speak to you?" And she said yes. And I continued the conversation with her. She was kind. And they ended up being very patient while I wrapped up all of my camping gear. And it was starting to rain on us. And their shift had ended in the middle of this whole scenario. So they patiently waited for me to pack up my gear. And they had impounded my bike just that afternoon that I didn't know about because they were afraid it was going to be stripped. Yes, I had expired tags. Did they look for someone in the park who was the owner? No. They had it impounded because they were afraid it was going to be stripped and they didn't want that happening on their watch. Okay, so it was a $480 lesson for me. So the next day, so they dropped me off in town, the closest town, Point Reyes Station. Beautiful little town. It was in the lower 40s that night, so I was a little bit cold. Thank heavens I grabbed my winter motorcycle gloves and put them in my purse, grabbed some food. So I walked the streets that night to stay warm. And I didn't have the money to get a hotel. And in the morning, I was going to deal with my issues with the DMV and what have you. So I was quite resourceful that night. I looked for exterior outlets that I found at the fire station, so I was able to charge my phone. At 3 a.m., I had a shift for myself, which was really neat. I heard a noise in this courtyard, a lot of clattering around, and I found out it was this young woman who was a baker. She was baking bread for her bakery for the morning so she could get together food for delivery and takeout. because no one's allowed to have people in restaurants or eating establishments right now. And she had her ovens cranked, she had her music cranked, and she was in a tank top enjoying the heat. And she was kind of dancing around as she was baking, and it turned my world around. I smiled. I wanted to go join her, but in lieu of what's going on in the world, I thought it best to just watch her from afar. And it kind of warmed my bones up just watching her, and it was a really neat experience for me. Here, two people are within feet of each other experiencing a reality of something completely different, which can happen. We don't have to give in to the fear. We can find the beauty, and we can embrace one another virtually, from afar. So interestingly, in that following morning, I went to the sheriff's station and I said, can you guys help me out a bit? This is the situation that I just had. I was kicked out of the park without my bike, without my tent. And he said, okay, I just released a vehicle yesterday. I'm going to make a call for you. So he called the state park officers and he said, in light of what's going on around here, we are educating the people. We are not enforcing it to make larger number of homeless people on the road. So Nicole is just trying to get home. Let's get that girl back on her bike with her belongings and let her get home. So in the morning, I had a beautiful female state park officer. She was the only one on duty. She came to pick me up. She drove me back to the ranger station to get all my gear. She drove me for 30 minutes in her vehicle to the tow lot so I could pick up my bike. And we had a fabulous conversation. She was a beautiful soul, and we had so much fun in the car. And then when I got to the tow station, and I had already called this gal to find out how much it was going to cost to pick up, and she could tell that I was bummed that this all went down. She said, honey, just get yourself to us and we will help you take care of everything. So I got there, and turns out that she was a tree hugger just like me. You guys saw her in the video. We had lunch together, and her little doggie was sitting at my feet. I got to pet it, and we had a lot of fun. And you know what? They're struggling people. They live in their little trailer towing, and business has been tough for them. And you know what? I happened to have the money, barely, but it made me happy that I could give it to someone whose lives it was going to improve, rather than to the DMV and the system. So right now I'm trying to work out my tag situation. But I have a feeling this is what's going to happen. I feel this is the beginning of a shift in government as well. And these old structures like the DMV, the IRS, the feds, this is going to be restructured, if not collapsed completely. But the proof is in the pudding. We will see how that works out. I feel that with people losing their jobs like this and having to come up with new ways to make money, and the government now, the president is working out ways to give stimulus packages to people, putting $1,200 in everyone's pocket. That's pretty amazing to try to get people through this crisis. And people are going to choose to put food in their mouth. They're not going to be paying their registration. Paying registration is not going to make them survive right now. I'm not going to be the only one in this situation. It's going to be nationwide. So they're going to have to come up with a solution. I bet you they dissolve this debt of the people, but we shall see. So anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride, you guys. It's been a fun adventure. And I love embracing it as a lesson, as beauty, as coming together with my fellow people. And you guys are just wonderful. Get ready for the next adventure. Let's see what we're going to do next.